We're processing all this information that we were never meant to process. We are overstimulated. I think that attention is actually one of the most valuable things that we own, if not the most valuable thing. Because where your attention goes, your energy goes, your emotion goes, your time goes. And yet most of us let our attention leak everywhere, to notifications on our phones, to content we didn't really ask for that was just sent our way. I want to share a few small things that I've done that have really shifted things for me. The first thing is that my phone is on D&D. I'm a D&D warrior. I have been one since the function was introduced. I saw it and I was like, yeah, that's a bit of me. I have it so that it's set to come on at certain times of the day. Like I have different focus modes. Like I have a work focus mode, which is a D&D, but it'll let certain notifications come through. And I have D&D that kicks in to gear at like 5 p.m. and I don't get any email notifications. I don't get any phone notifications. I'm really intentional about what I want to see on my phone. I don't even have notifications on for social media. I switched that off back in 2021. After watching The Social Dilemma, I was like, oh, that's how they're programming these social media apps to keep me engaged, to keep me picking up my phone. Like I want no parts, especially because they don't even let their kids have social media. They don't. And so I turned off my social media notifications. As of that day, I have not turned them back on. I like the dynamic of being able to choose to go on and see what I need to see. And I know some people hear this and think, what if you miss out on things? And I'm okay with missing out. Oftentimes, it's not anything that's like groundbreaking. And if it is, the information will find its way to me some way, somehow. Like if it's, big news, like someone died or like something's happening in the world, it'll find its way to me some way, somehow. Someone will tell me about it. It's never anything that's like life or death. And if anything, it's like maybe a potential client message that I'm getting back to at a later time. I like having the ability to choose to look at something, to go into an app, to go into a platform, rather than being pulled into it. When you get a notification for an app and you go into the app, you didn't choose that, the app chose that. You're being pulled up of whatever it is because now you're curious and you want to go see. And now suddenly I'm reacting to something I didn't ask for. And even with my phone being on D&D, if it's an emergency or if it's really important, people know to call me twice. They know to send an SOS. For me, it's not about ignoring people. It's more about choosing when I want to engage and just being in the right headspace or at the right time in my day, not engaged in other tasks. The other small thing that I've stopped doing, and this one is like slightly niche, depending on who's watching this, but I stopped looking at my story viewers and I also stopped checking my likes. It would be something I would do automatically. It's like I post a story, go about my day, maybe like 3 minutes later, an hour later, check to see who'd seen it. One day I just had to ask myself, like, what is this information doing for me? And the answer was nothing positive. And that's when I was like, why am I engaging in this behavior? Because I know that I'm posting because I have something I want to share, whether it's valuable, entertaining. I just feel like yapping. I just feel like sharing it. Who cares who watches it? Like I can admit in the past, I would post and I would feel good if someone specifically saw it, or I would feel bad if they didn't see it. Sometimes I would even find that I'd notice that like someone that I hadn't talked to in a while, whether it's like an ex-partner, had seen it, and then it would have me thinking thoughts that I otherwise wouldn't have thought. Like it would take me down like a thought loop that I wouldn't have otherwise had. Like I would start thinking about them for no reason other than the fact that I saw their name pop up on the story. And I just found that it was adding mental clutter for what? I'm at a point where I'm not posting for nobody. I don't care if anybody specific watches my story. I don't care if they don't watch my story. That's not why I'm posting. Like it's because I have something I want to share, something valuable, something I think is entertaining, funny, helpful, something of the sort. I just feel like sharing it. And so it doesn't matter. And honestly, since I've done this, it's been so freeing. I don't think about those secret watchers, those silent haters. What are we calling them? I can't even remember. That's how much I don't think about that anymore because it just isn't important to me. Like there's so much more important things that my brain cells could be thinking about. The way my life is set up right now, I don't have time to focus on the things that are so menial. And it's funny how that works because it was like, I had that awareness of like, okay, why am I doing this? What's the point? What's the value? What's the importance? And then being like, okay, I'm just gonna stop. And now at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm glad I did that because I actually don't care. Like it never mattered. It's crazy how you change and what you want out of life changes. And I also think it has something to do with the way the world is changing. I'm naturally adapting to how the world is changing as well too. And I think that something that is a big issue since short form content has made its mark. Economy is where it is. People are looking to content creation as a side hustle and we are overstimulated. I'm overstimulated. There's so much information out there, way too much information out there if I'm being honest. I don't need to know all that. I just feel like at this point in my life, there's certain things I don't need to give my awareness and my attention to. We're just living in this time period where we are getting an influx of information. It's news, it's notifications, it's reels, it's opinions, dramas, updates. It never stops. It never stops. And then we're wondering why we feel scattered, why we feel tired, why we feel like our nervous system is frazzled and like at its capacity. We're processing all this information that we were never meant to process. Like, we're feeling tired when we haven't really done anything. I've had this conversation with friends before, and something that comes up is like, oh, I'm so bad at like managing my time. I just feel so lazy sometimes because like I'm just spending it doing things that aren't really moving me in the right direction. I'm giving my attention to things that aren't actually adding to my life in any way tangible. Yeah, a big part of it is time management, but I think an even bigger part of it is boundary setting. Things that I've just talked about previously, like those are boundaries for me. That has helped me be intentional about what it is that I'm taking in and when I'm taking it in. So I think it's more of like a boundary setting thing as opposed to a time management thing. The way I look at it, we are so careful about how we spend our money, right? I mean, we should be. If we're not, we should be. We have income coming in at the beginning of the month. We make a budget. We know we're spending this amount here, we're spending this amount here, we're spending this amount here. We have this amount left over, right? We budget. We think about our purchases. We don't just let anyone come and take money from our bank account anytime that they want. That's not something that we do. But we let these apps, these algorithms, these notifications come and take our attention anytime that they want, all day long, for free, without permission. I mean, we did give it permission because, you know, we toggled that little accept notification. So we did, but you don't have to. Like I said, 2021, I turned those notifications off. I ain't turned them back on. I probably never will. It sounds unserious sometimes, but it is so serious for my mental health. It is so serious for my ability to focus on what it is that I'm doing. I have started treating my attention the same way I treat my money. Someone wants access to it, it's gonna be in my own accord. I have to choose to want to give it. Something else that I've been doing that I really have been enjoying is curating my feed to the things I want to learn. Like, I've got a lot of like quantum physics in there right now. I've got a lot of like Google ads and like running ads. I've got a little bit of travel and smoke. I'm gonna be traveling soon, so I want to know all about the places I'm gonna be traveling, and I've curated my feed to reflect what it is that I want to see. And I've got a little bit of brain rot, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've got some like funny videos that are like playing this song for my Nigerian father and seeing how he responds and reacts, pretending to cast a spell on Africans. Cat videos. I love videos like that sometimes. The thing is, I've curated that because that's what I enjoy, okay? It's a time and a place. Like I said, I'm not being pulled into these apps with notifications. I'm choosing to go into them to watch said videos. And for the videos that are more related to like knowledge base, like the ad sets, the quantum physics, I've got a notebook specifically for that. Like, I'll save a video and I'll come back to it and rewatch it and take notes on it so that I'm actually able to learn something from it as opposed to just watching and then swiping. There's something to be said about the knowledge that is out there. Like, we are living in a time where, yes, there's a lot of information and sometimes it's a little too much, but sometimes it's the right type of knowledge that can change your life, but you just didn't catch it when you should have. You didn't write it down. You just like didn't let it marinate. You just scrolled, swiped to the next video. And so that's something else I've been doing, is being really intentional about the videos that do hit heavy, writing notes and like journaling about it so I can come back to it. I can actually take away something from it. It can be something that I either implement or I reflect further on. There's a lot of times I'll see something and I'll write about it, and then a friend will be talking about something similar to that, you know, days later, weeks later, months later, and I have something that I can add to it and say, yeah, I actually seen something about this, and it got me thinking about this, and I agree with what you said, or I actually don't, and maybe you should consider this. Like, it just allows for more depth. So if any of this is resonating for you and you're sitting here thinking like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, how do I do this? Like, what can I do to be more intentional about where my awareness is going? My first tip is just start small. You don't need to overhaul your whole life, but I think turning off notifications is a very good place to start. Maybe even just Instagram for 1 week. See how you feel, what thoughts come up. Or maybe you try the do not disturb thing. Like I said, I'm a D&D warrior and I support it. It might be freeing in a way that you just didn't expect. And who knows, you might love it and you may never go back. Something else you can do is maybe pick one metric that you're gonna stop, like caring about, whether it's stories, likes, whatever the case is. Maybe that's the angle you wanna go and just like decide to not look at those things anymore. Because again, even as someone that has a business on social media, those metrics, like who is watching, doesn't do as much for me as like looking and seeing how many saves, the watch time is increased, like where people dropped off. Like, those metrics are important. Those metrics are important because you can see what's working, what people are engaging with, but who is less important. That's just gonna fill your head with thoughts that quite frankly aren't productive. Pick one of these, start with it, and I promise you, once you start realizing how good it feels to have more control over your attention, you may just never want to go back. That feeling of knowing like I have control over like what I give my attention, my awareness to is honestly game changing in more ways than one. So try it out, notice how you feel. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you hate it, right? You never know until you try. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments what is one way that you are going to take back your attention. And if you have already tried this and you can relate to some of the things I've said, like what are some changes that you've noticed? I'm genuinely curious and I want to know. That's it for today. I will see you in the next one.